Radhe, Radhe. So we're doing another blog entry today. Here we go. This blog entry is blog entry number 138. And that is from 10/7 of 2024. And this is still in Seattle because I was here for a few months after I'd put on orange. So that's where this blog entry is from. Okay. Yesterday I was reflecting on the change to orange and the feeling of the river near me, the connection it has to consciousness. Last night during meditation, I was learning that I need to be calm and trusting, not only here on earth, but also in the ethers, and to trust Krishna in both realms. I'm still getting up to speed in the ethers due to some life choices, and so in a way I'm socially delayed there, still learning how it works. So what was happening here is, in meditation, Radha and Krishna was having me learn about relaxing and trusting in the moment, sort of like beyond the material, in that I'm feeling them connected simultaneously in the realms of the ethers and those upper realms, and then here in the material as well. And growing the trust and the faith and the relationship for both simultaneously, which is really interesting, because if you think back a few blog entries ago, I was talking about seeing how the divine and the material are simultaneous, right? So this is more of a merging of those. I was talking about that at the end of that blog entry, where seeing Krishna in both. And as you grow closer and closer with Krishna and more Krishna is with you, it becomes connected. Yeah, so it's really interesting. Okay. During the meditation, I was reminded that I couldn't yet see everything. I needed to understand, but clarity is coming. It's coming. Last night, understanding the trust and faith aspect more deeply helped me grasp this. I was also reminded that I will grow into this, which reassures me that perfection is not expected from the start, and time to explore and learn is part of the process. So, on the Bhakti path and your spiritual journey, growing towards Radha and Krishna, we'll often think that perfection is required or necessary, or we'll think something isn't good enough. But in reality, they're just wanting things done with love. They're not asking for perfection. So it's really important to just try and be patient with yourself as you're learning and growing, because chances are you're going to be harder on yourself than they are on you by far. So it's something to keep in mind as you move forward. Okay. I'm realizing that the role of guru seems to be supporting and encouraging growth in faith and trust, rather than providing all the specifics. That appears to be my path and experience so far. Krishna then leads each person where they need to go, supporting them to walk in that direction with faith and helping nurture the growth of that faith. There are times where it seems like the guru is like, don't do that, do it like this. And that seems really important, especially as we're starting and growing and getting used to it. But then there's a certain point where we learn how to walk and then run, and then we become more individual in our connection with Krishna. And so we grow, like from infancy to adolescent to through childhood to young adulthood to adulthood. And so just as we develop in all the other ways and grow in all the other ways, your spiritual growth is really similar. But you have to be careful, because ego will lurk in there, and you'll want to jump levels. You'll want to move from adolescent to adulthood and skip all the stuff that you need to learn between the two. And it doesn't really work like that. So you have to be careful in that way. But it's also important to know that as you grow and as your spiritual connection and experience changes, your relationship with God and your relationship with your spiritual path will also change. So it's tricky, but it's meant to be that way to help us learn and grow and develop. Similar to like a child developing into an adult. It's just one of the aspects of life that we grow through. But it's really easy to think that if you're looking at your devotion in a ritualistic way, it's really easy to think that if you just do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 every day until you die, you're done. And that's not really the case. I mean, that's better than doing nothing, but the reality is it's about growth and development. So if you're really comfortable on your spiritual path, You probably need a teacher to come in or someone to come in and to help you, because your spiritual path should push you to grow. So you should have times of discomfort and times of comfort, and it should ebb and flow like that. So it's just something to keep in mind as you're thinking about your journey and your spiritual growth. Okay, so here we go. Last night I asked Krishna, why orange? Why this particular path, when all I really want to do is to teach people how to love God more each day and to know him more deeply? Krishna replied in 2 ways. The first, I ended up on this path because the others I tried didn't fulfill me in my search for God. That's totally true. Deeply. The second answer was the most profound. He wants me to have a pure heart from which to teach. I asked him what that truly meant. He said simply, that is where I stay with you and am with you. So the purification of the orange and the purification of the austerities and the purification of taking the leaps of faith and existing in the moment and all those types of purification and love and faith and trust building, all of that is big and intense, but all of that makes it possible for more and more and more Krishna to be with me on my journey. And that makes everything better. It allows more Radha and Krishna to be with me. So more of their consciousness is with me. The vibration is higher. And as I'm meditating and connecting and meeting people and things like that, it makes me a even better vehicle for God. So the austerities and the intensities of this path that I'm on and the way that Krishna has wanted me to do this journey as I've been doing it, it comes back around with me having more and more Radha and Krishna with me. And it just makes everything better. Yeah, absolutely everything. Yeah. All right, well, that's pretty much it for this blog entry. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for following along. And have a great rest of your day. Radhe, 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 Radhe. Radhe, Radhe.